Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. Hey. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Hey.
Give me a second, let me light up real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to the I.O.W. Sports Late Night Hour Edition, hosted by Mr. Modelo himself. You already know the name by now. You know what I'm saying? Wild Card Mar. You already know the vibe. Pull up, let's go.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar.
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. How is everybody doing? We are back, y'all. We took the week off. Obviously, for those who've been paying attention to the content, your boy Wildcard Mine had a baby girl last Monday. I had to take the week off, and I had my birthday last week. I had a busy week last week, so took the week off. Got a chance for MJ to get some rest. You know, them senior citizens need their rest, y'all. So we can't make sure we out working.
That's why you was on break, because you needed the rest.
And as always, y'all see our boy Randy's in the building. Great contributor to the I.O.W. movement. So he got some grievances that he got to get off his chest, and we gonna get to him. But y'all know what it is. Make sure y'all tap in with us. Wildcard Mar, Jersey Boy MJ. Episode 341 tonight. You see the headline. Running back market is crashing like the Dow. I'm trying to tell you, man. New York Stock Exchange ain't got shit on the NFL. How this running back market is going, because shit is just the stock is plummeting. It's plummeting. It's going down to the shitter. It really is. But that's pretty much our main topic tonight. We'll get into that in just a second. But y'all know what it is. Tap in with my guy 40 Silent Hill TDS. Going over there. Hitchhikers on YouTube, chop it up with them. Follow us on all the social media platforms on the bottom of your screen. You see it, tap in with us. You dig? But hey, man, let's just get into it, because I got two Giants fans on the screen with me. All right, and I feel y'all pain. There's no way y'all can be happy about the situation that happened today. There's no way y'all can be at all. And if those who've been, sticking your head in the ground like like what's them ostriches stick their head in the ground. I gotta help you out. Yeah.
You're right.
If you had your head in the ground like an ostrich and ain't been paying attention, man. So Saquon Barkley wants his money. That I think, and I'm pretty sure my two compadres who are Giants fans can agree, is very deserving of a pay raise. And this running back market, and me and MJ have talked about it numerous shows, is getting worse and worse and worse. This whole summer has gotten beyond worse for it. Not just Saquon Barkley. We're talking about elite running backs. We're talking about Jonathan Taylor is going to be coming up at the end of his rookie deal. He knows it.
He knows it.
And so, hey man, I'm just gonna, hey man, I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and crack my Modelo because I've been getting ready for the fireworks. The shit about to get real tonight, dog. Shit about to get real. So y'all make sure y'all tap in. Cheers, everybody. Always a pleasure to talk sports with y'all fellas. All right. So quite honestly, my man Randy, the floor is yours, man. I want you to get these grievances off your chest so that you can just let it all release. Go ahead, my man. It's all you, man.
We live in a dark timeline because I can't. Everybody's at fault here. Like everybody messed up horribly today in this regard. Not even just on the Giants, and I'm gonna focus on them the most specifically.
Yeah, that's your squad. Yeah, makes sense.
But the Raiders also.
Oh, they fumbled the bag.
Yeah. Oh boy, they fumbled it. Cowboys too. I don't understand why the league thinks that they're not going to get the pushback from running backs they do when they have a very clear message to running backs. We don't value you. You're banging up your body more than other positions that are going to get paid more. And it's going to lead to less people training to be running backs. It's going to lead to people in college deciding like, okay, well, I can get banged up more for like 10 million, or I can learn how to catch and primarily focus on catching and get about 20 million and get banged up a little bit less. So you're going to see a shortage in really good running backs, and it's because they're not being valued. And it's one thing if you have an elite quarterback and an elite passing game, like the Eagles could get away with underpaying DeAndre Swift because they don't need him to that degree. The Chiefs could do the same thing with Pikachu because they don't need him to that degree. But the Giants need Saquon Barkley. He was the lead receiver and rusher on their team last year. And he gets banged up really bad leading that offense. So I don't know what's going to happen. There are rumors that he's not going to be going to training camp now because he's not under contract and they can't make him anymore. I'm not sure exactly how that works because I've also heard other.
He didn't sign. Excuse me. He didn't sign the franchise tag. That's why.
Right. So he's not signing the tag, and he's not. So he could end up sitting out the first half of the season. And the Giants' offense, I'm glad that we got Darren Waller when we did because it's not going to make up for it, but it'll help having an actually good passing target on the team. But that puts a lot of reliance on Daniel Jones to not only be consistent with his improvement last year, but to improve even further because now he's going to be the primary focus of the offense. And the Giants aren't ready for that. And Daniel Jones isn't ready for that. Or if he is, there needs to be more proof of that before you say, fuck you to our star running back.
That right there, man.
Yeah. And he's been the absolute leader of this team, the face of this team. I'm pretty sure he sells the most jerseys. He is so important to this team.
Even a jersey? Which jersey are you wearing right now?
Saquon Barkley. I don't have a Daniel Jones jersey. I have a Saquon Barkley jersey. And so do most Giants fans. He's the face of the franchise.
MJ got one. He's rocked it on the show before.
I got two. I got the blue one, and I got the black camouflage.
Nice. Yeah, so it's just ridiculous that like even Josh Jacobs is a perfect example. You can lead the league in rushing and be the primary focus of your team's offense and you'll still get underpaid, and you'll still get tagged, and you'll still be told if you don't like the tag, then walk. And I don't know what's going to end up happening from this, but the Giants messed up bad. Giants messed up real bad. They have the money. They just gave Daniel Jones $40 million for one quality season. They have the money.
I wouldn't even call it a quality season, bro.
It was good enough, man.
He was serviceable. He was serviceable.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
He did his job.
Exactly. He wasn't the star, but that's the thing. He was serviceable, and they gave him $40 million for 4 years guaranteed. So
which is
that
ridiculous.
was enough for a quarterback to get that much money. But I don't think it's ever actually been established for real how much Saquon Barkley was definitely arguing for. I know that the highest deal that I heard was $14 million. So if they had bumped that up like $1 or $2 million, that probably would have been enough. That would have made him in the top like 3 highest paid running backs. So that probably would have been enough. That's
a good point. And not to cut you off, I had said that in today's show. When you look at Christian McCaffrey, who's at the top of that running back market, and you look at his career, and sorry, we got to compare careers. Compare his career with Saquon's. Why would Saquon take less production wise? Less money when his production can either be at the same level at CMC, some years even greater.
That's the thing.
I remember Saquon has an offensive rookie of the year in his repertoire.
Yeah, CMC is also an elite running back, but he's an elite running back on a team that does not need him as much as the Giants need Saquon. And that's a very big deal.
Now he is.
Yeah, now he is. But on his current contract, now he is. Yeah. He's on a team that has Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle as offensive targets. Saquon Barkley is not on a team like that.
Winning the league defense too.
Yeah, exactly. Like arguably the best or second best defense in the league. So the fact that CMC, they were willing to give him that much money, even though if they removed him from the team, they would still probably at least make the NFC Championship most years. Saquon Barkley, considering how much more important he is to the team than CMC is, it's a huge slap in the face. And CMC also has a really bad injury record, which was the main argument against Saquon.
Bingo. That was my biggest point of when you're comparing these at where they should be in the pecking order of pay, you got to compare careers, taking injuries into account, taking personal accolades, personal stats. You got to take it all into account. And you also got to take in the situation in account too. So now I get CMC got paid when he was with the Panthers. He gets traded to San Francisco. So the contract transfers over. But regardless, he's still at the top of the running back market. When you compare him to these guys that want to get these big, get their just due, as in financial payments, I think you're asinine if you can't put Saquon Barkley right next to CMC. I think it's silly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's one of the best, I think, arguably at least the most important running backs in the league.
Oh yeah, bar none, easily. To me, I don't even think there's really a debate. If you put importancy at running back position, Saquon has to be at the top. I don't see another running back that, besides maybe Derrick Henry.
Which even that's been mitigated now because they just got DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
So now he has help. Jacobs has help in Devontae. Nick Chubb doesn't have a lot of help, but more help than Saquon has.
Nick Chubb got one of the best offensive lines in football.
But I'm talking about other targets.
Cleveland got weapons.
Yeah, I think Cleveland actually is low key kind of solid. You got Amari Cooper, still a good receiver.
True.
You can find out what you can do with Elijah Moore that you traded for from the Jets. You still got a solid tight end in David Njoku. So and Chubb back there. So I think they actually have solid weapons. So but it does still.
Hey, what about Kareem Hunt? Is he still there?
No, they let him go. Yeah. So to me that makes Nick Chubb.
So he's on the market. He's on the market
a little bit
too,
more important. Yeah, he's in the free agency market still without a job.
Wow, I didn't know he was. Oh, okay. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
in that pool.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna play this audio clip real quick. This came from Total Access today to kind of shed some light on the situation. So.
Yeah, Saquon did not get the news he wanted. The Giants didn't get the news that they wanted. Giants fans didn't get the news they wanted. Really, nobody won here with Saquon Barkley not getting a long-term extension. The reality is, Patrick, the Giants tried. And I'm not just talking about today. I'm talking about really going back the bye week last year. They made a substantial offer. In February, before Daniel Jones ended up getting his long-term deal, they made an extensive offer, try to get a deal done then. Then he changed agents, maybe a little bit of a restart, but the reality was they never quite got back to where they were. In the end, the Giants made several proposals. Saquon Barkley and his new team at CAA made several proposals. On the guaranteed money, maybe they were kind of close. APY-wise, never really. This deal did not get done. Now expect him to be absent the start of training camp, and we'll see him when we see him. And in the words of Saquon Barkley, guys, it is what it is.
It is.
Yep, it is what it is. MJ, jump in here, man, because I mean, you can't be happy that your star running back might not even show up for training camp, and there's still a possibility. Here's a possibility that we still have to take into account. He could possibly sit out.
If he sits out, that'll be the worst move of his career. As the way they're treating running backs nowadays, if he didn't get a contract this year, what makes you think he's going to get one next year by sitting out?
Fair point.
Granted, you're not taking the beating this year, but it's another year you're older. Teams see you as another year older.
Yeah.
So if you're
also
not
not
willing.
going to like the fact that you sat out. They're going to use that against you. Like, oh, you're not a team player. It's going to turn the locker room, or they're at least going to try to use it to turn the locker room against them.
See, I don't think the locker room will turn because they know people in that locker room know that he's deserving of
I know the way that like a lot of the players have been very vocal in support of him, but it is going to shift the narrative to some degree. Maybe not necessarily with the locker room, but with Giants fans possibly. A lot of Giants fans have turned on Saquon hard,
which is crazy.
Yeah, you see it. You're like, oh, he's asking for too much money. Like, oh, he's going to ruin our cap space. Like, he's not asking for that much more than he was offered. It's a couple million difference. So, that's already in the works. And him sitting out is going to be much worse. It's also going to be much worse for him. I don't think he wants to do that because
I don't think he does. No,
he's losing the money that he is going to be guaranteed. And he also is going to kind of, if they do well without him, that kills his argument.
That does kill the narrative. But
I'm sure he doesn't want to risk that.
He doesn't want to risk that. But if I'm the Giants, I wouldn't even want to entertain that possibility of playing the season without Saquon.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? It's to all your points, which are so on point. You have a running back, and I always relate this to when Le'Veon Bell was looking for his deal. I remember when he was the leading rusher, at least a top rusher in the league. He was also the second leading receiver on the Steelers behind Antonio Brown, and scoring touchdowns like crazy that year. His contract year, he wanted a contract because he's pass blocking, he's running the ball as his primary job, and he's also being a pass catcher. You're asking running backs to do literally 3 jobs. An offensive line has one job, it's to block.
Mm-hmm.
A quarterback has one job to do, throw the ball and get it to your receivers. You get it to your playmakers. Mm-hmm. Receivers have one job, catch the ball. And their market value is so inflated compared to a running back markets who you are asking to do 3 jobs. And I get the adage, there's running back by committees, but that's not every situation. This situation in New York is not a running back by committee situation.
True. No, absolutely. And then you have guys like Austin Eckler, for instance, who's having his own contract disputes, and he was doing the job of a running back and a receiver.
He was.
Yeah. When Keenan Allen got hurt, that was his job.
Bingo. Hey, MJ, how many times did we say that? How important Austin Eckler was to the Chargers? You're relying on Keenan Allen, Mike Thomas, who are great receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams, not Mike Thomas.
Mike Williams, yes. Williams. No, Mike Thomas is injury prone, but Mike Williams in this.
Injury prone on a different team, yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about two big wide receivers who you count on year in and year out for your offense, and they're in and out of the lineup all the time. The consistent for the Chargers has always been Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. So if you got two guys who are really carrying the weight for your offense because there's other people that you were counting on and relying on, and they're not there, how can you not compensate? We said that a million times, MJ. This guy, Austin Eckler, is a magician back there. This guy does phenomenal things. And he had to fight, crawl, scream to get even just $2 more million in a raise this year.
Yeah.
But still no long-term commitment, still no long-term financial stability.
I know. Honestly, I think there's a possibility that they may end up, like, especially with Saquon Jacobs and Pollard in the positions they are, running backs may eventually start like collectivizing to sit out games in order to fight for their contracts, which isn't going to be good for anybody.
No, you're right. Man Down Sports, what's happening? My man Melvin Wong, y'all make sure y'all tap in with that content as well. But I mean, it's here's one of my biggest arguments that I like to debate on social media platforms, and it drives me crazy when people say, "Oh, well, you guys are getting paid more than the average American and this and that," and I'm like, wait, hold up, you can't compare our pay scale as citizens to what they do as their occupation. You can't compare those pay scales. It's two different worlds.
Right.
Two different worlds.
The supply of people who can do that job on that level is so much smaller than the amount of people who could do the job that these haters on the internet do. Like, anybody can work at McDonald's, bro. Like, it's just not the same. The supply demand change is not the same, man. I'm sorry that you're stuck working at Staples. Don't take it out.
Like to me, that biggest argument is lazy and it's really not actually putting thought into anything of the matter. You're really just saying stuff because you got lips, and it's weird.
Also, the amount of injuries that you take, like at your regular job, you're not worrying about CTE, you're not worrying about ACL tears, and you also probably have job security up until you're about 60. The average running back retires in their 30s, so that money has to carry them further than that.
Oh, big time.
And also like just the wear and tear on their bodies and everything. It's so much more than like, yes, I do definitely understand the idea of, well, okay, you're getting $10 million. How many people have $10 million? Like, I get that his lifestyle is probably still going to be incredible on that. I get that. And that's a fair point. But at the same time, you would do the same thing if you had the talent to do it.
What's up, Flo? How you doing, bro?
What up, Flo?
No, you bring up an excellent point, and I actually want to dig deeper into this because when you think about it, here's one caveat that I always say to a lot of people: you got to understand that in the NFL, you're not vetted until you play at least 4 or 5 years anyway. So if a star running back, kills it his first 3 years, gets a significant injury, a career-ending injury, and hasn't played those 4 years, he's shit out of luck. Because those medical benefits that are supposed to be provided for you from the NFL past your playing career, he's not vetted. The NFL, they're not obligated to continue any medical coverage past his NFL career because he's no longer playing.
Right.
So it's a crapshoot, bro. But what do you think are some of the solutions, MJ? What do you think is some of the solutions to this situation for running backs, man?
For the running backs, I don't know, but for this situation, fucking pay Saquon. That's it. Because without Saquon, you don't have a team. I mean, we spoke on this. They overpaid Daniel Jones. We all know that. But by doing that, you just handcuffed yourself. Because now by doing that, you don't have the flexibility to sign Saquon, even though they any GM could get the fucking job done. But I don't know if there is a solution because teams are seeing this. You know, y'all spoke on this earlier. Teams are going by 2-3 running backs nowadays. They don't have just one feature back. So they're looking at it like, okay, we could spread the money over 3, let's say 1 good running back and 2 decent backups, rather than spend it all on one and heavy load that one running back.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution, I don't see one, man. You know, these teams are standing firm. They're rotating guys in and out. You know, you get your 4 years, 5 years, you're done. Like they're moving off you. You know, you don't have the days of Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders no more. You know, playing at a high level for that many years. You don't have it no more.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll use Chris Johnson as a reference. CJ2K, right?
Yep. Had a nice little flash.
You know, hit 2,000 yards. And how long was he in the league?
In about 6, 7, 8 years. Kind of faded out.
How many were really productive?
I would say about majority of it, but once he and I think what it was.
If I gotta look up the stats, I don't think.
If I remember correctly, CJ 2K, it might have been an injury or something like that, and then he never got that big second contract, and then I know he floated with the Cardinals for a minute, and then he kind of really phased out. So it's situations like that where you see running backs who literally give everything to these franchises. I'm talking about literally their bodies, their time, their everything. I mean, I get it; it's their occupation, but at the end of the day, I equate to this. So you know, we're not football players. We all have occupations. If you feel like you outperform your pay scale, I'm going to go to management and say, hey, you guys have seen what I've been doing for you guys. Looking at the bottom line, you guys are making good profit. All I'm saying is, hey, take care of me. That's all I'm asking for. I want adequate pay scale. For that adequate as in relation to my output and my performance that I give you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I also think that one possible solution on the running back end, maybe a lot of them should focus more on being receiving backs. They clearly prioritize the passing game more now. That's the whole big reason why this is happening. So be like an Eckler or like a CMC, and make sure you also know how to receive. Maybe prioritize that more than just straight running, and that way you'll also get banged up less.
True.
You can go to them and be like, hey, like my injuries have gone down, my yardage has gone up because I'm receiving more. I'm more of a contributor to the kind of schemes that you're prioritizing. Give me more money.
Yeah. I'm also one of the type of people where if we're talking about blame and shit like that, I'm also kind of looking at the NFL Players Association. Where y'all at in this situation? Why y'all being so silent? Why is it that it's literally because it's a collective group of running backs, including CMC, who's at the top of this pay scale, is literally telling y'all like, yo, this is wrong. You got King Henry. Derrick Henry tweeted, said, hey, y'all might as well just get rid of the position then. If y'all not going to make sure that we get the proper pay scale for what we output.
I think that might end up happening. I think over time, that might be the solution they decide on. They might just basically phase out running and just kind of have receivers run sometimes in particular games.
Hey, the fullback has pretty much been faded out. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's true.
You know?
I mean, most, especially the good receivers, already can get yards after the catch, so they can run. So
shit, look at Deebo Samuel. He'd be lining up in the backfield.
Yeah.
You know, so straight up line up in the backfield, not just pulling a wildcat or anything. He's lining up as a running back. So I mean, but you can't teach a guy how to catch though. You know what I mean? Like either you got it or you don't.
True.
True.
At the end of the day,
sometimes like how to catch a ball, but it doesn't always compute.
Hey, you got a fair point, but at the end of the day, when the guy does the job and get the job done on multiple occasions, season after season, getting beat the hell up season after season. I'm just trying to find the logical reason to not pay him. I get the business side. I get it.
You don't want to pay anybody anything. They only pay what they feel like they have to, and they feel like they have to pay them much.
Yeah, and I think a little, maybe NFL needs to apply a little supply and demand in this situation, because the supply of elite running backs are low, but you demand a lot of output from that position. So you gotta find some way to make sure that these guys are being fairly compensated. What's up, MJ17? How you doing, bro? So it's just I'm also looking at the Raiders, because I'm glad you brought that up too. Now with Josh Jacobs, I saw that somebody had tweeted out
before you start your Raider rant, just come out and say it. Raiders doing Raiders.
Raiders doing Raiders shit like always. Okay. Now, in Josh Jacobs' situation, I'm not surprised he's having trouble. I mean, let's look at this franchise who, the Raiders do Raiders shit. You take your quarterback, Derek Carr, who's probably your leading quarterback in probably all statistical categories in Raiders franchise history, and you tell him when Josh McDaniels gets in, says, "Hey, we appreciate what you've done, but for the last 2 games of the season, man, don't even bother showing up. Just clean your damn locker out and go home." That's pretty much what they told him to do.
He did also badly underperform last season. Also, he's one of their better historical quarterbacks, but not within recent years.
Yeah.
And they never won anything with him. So I get it.
But I don't want to always... He didn't win nothing. They didn't win nothing with Derek Carr at the helm. But I'm also want to give Derek Carr credit, because what the hell? He was playing through chaos. He was playing through chaos.
True.
I mean, he's literally
in Vegas. No.
Chaos even before they got to Vegas. You got to remember, he had a solid squad that was competing with the Chiefs, and they had Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, all them cats. Gruden comes in and hey, Khalil Mack, I'm just gonna get trade value for you. Amari Cooper, I'm just gonna get trade value for you.
Yeah.
And now, don't get me wrong, Josh Jacobs came back in one of those draft picks, so you get Josh Jacobs. But then again, look at all the situation when John Gruden got ousted, the Henry Ruggs situation, had to deal with an interim coach. You had David Arnett being Mr. John Wick before John Wick ever happened. And then, takes him to the playoffs. And with the Raiders organization, you bring in his best buddy in Devontae Adams, and then you make him unhappy by getting rid of Derek Carr.
That's also a big thing. Like, I do recognize that Derek Carr was underperforming, but you just brought in one of the best receivers in the league, and now you're immediately pissing him off. And he's not happy. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been vocal about it on Twitter.
Oh, he's been vocal about it. He's been tweeting about it. He's been talking to reporters about his unhappiness. And so has Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. So you have
Josh Jacobs was in the parking lot with Max Crosby today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awaiting that call to come and sign the contract, because he was waiting and never got that call. That's some shit.
Yeah.
That's Raiders doing Raiders shit right there.
100%. And they have maybe 3 great players on that team, and now they're pissing off 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you expect to happen if you do stuff like that. And the thing is also, they're a bad head office, so I'm not surprised by this kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have been surprised for the Saquon situation if it was Dave Gettleman doing this, right? Because that is some Dave Gettleman shit. It's not. Joe Shane has generally been good so far,
but he is very cutthroat though.
He is very cutthroat, but he is also.
He told Saquon in the beginning, this contract that we're offering you, it's not going to be on the table if you turn this down later on, and he turned it down, which was close to $14 million or about $14 million, per season, and he turned that down. So with him doing that, Joe Shane said, you know what, fuck it, you're not going to take this. We're not going to up the money. We're going to bring it down now because you want to play hardball. We'll play hardball.
Yeah.
He did the same thing with Julian Love, the safety.
Mm-hmm.
They offered him a nice contract. He decided, all right, I'm going to test free agency. And they told him this contract will not be here if you try to come back.
Yeah, and that's a business. That's business negotiation. Shit like that happens all the time.
And I totally get that. And I will also say that even though I do think that Saquon was justified in arguing for more, I don't necessarily think it was the best business decision to not sign the $14 million.
True.
Just
True.
on his basis, even if he's right, and I think that he is, broadly speaking, you're not going to get a better deal than that.
And hey, again, Le'Veon Bell situation. Le'Veon was right.
Mm-hmm.
But the $15 million that was on the table from the Steelers, he thought he should have got more, and rightfully so. I agree that he should have got more because of the output that he was putting. He sat out a year. It didn't work so well for him.
Right. It's true. And it's also, if he tries to go into the free market, the other owners are probably going to be less generous to him than Joe Shane because he's already established a certain repertoire with the Giants organization. So that's honestly, I don't think the $14 million, even that would have been offered by most other organizations if he was in the free market.
Yeah.
So that was probably his best move. And his agent, I think, also screwed up in trying to get him to push for more past that. I think had he signed that, he would probably end up just realizing that was the smart move. The organization would be happy because they have him. And I think both of them would have been better off had he signed that one. But he is also justified in saying he deserves more because he does.
Yeah, it really is a crapshoot. Jump in here, Randy, on Tony Pollard. Where do you see his rightful grief and grievances and wanting to get a long-term contract with the Cowboys?
I think he has less of an argument than Saquon does. They are a team that needs him less than the Giants need Saquon. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have a good passing game. Not necessarily a great passer, but good receiver. Yeah, I mean, the guy who throws, what was it, 15 interceptions? Like, I get maybe not wanting to rely too much on the passing game, but they have good receivers. They have very good receivers.
Yeah.
And Pollard is also much newer than Saquon. So I do understand Pollard being a little more disposable than Saquon, but he is also a very good running back.
Yeah. He is a very good running back. I can't put him at elite level with Saquon.
He's not elite, no.
Yeah.
He's maybe top.
And he's coming off a nasty injury.
Yes.
Also that.
Saquon was healthy last year. Tony Pollard wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And even at Pollard's best, he didn't produce Saquon numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Bottom Line Sports, my man Flo, he must be a Cowboys fan. He says, I got to see Pollard after his injury before we got to pay him, but I'm willing to let him go if he wants too much. Hey, and that's understandable, especially in Pollard's situation, because especially Jerry Jones. So specifically Jerry Jones, he's been bit by the running back position before.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
That contract that he gave Zeke 2 years early in his rookie contract, mind you, bit him in the butt. I don't care how Jerry Jones slices it, paints it, try to change the narrative of it. You had all the cards in your hand and you took the bait. Yeah, he did.
He has PTSD now. Now he doesn't want to pay running backs anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So Tony Pollard, his situation, he's going to have to get off that roster, or like Flo said, he's going to have an immaculate season to go ahead and justify a long-term contract, especially coming off an injury. His situation to me is more murky than probably most running backs in this situation trying to get more money. Mm-hmm. To me,
and he got hurt. And he got hurt late in the season.
Was perfectly just fine for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt late in the season. It's not like he got hurt in the first 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, so
he got hurt late.
He's going to start the season on I think he's going to start the season on injured reserve, if I'm correct. I know he won't be ready for week 1.
Mhm.
So he's already going to be missing time in this situation. That doesn't bode well for Tony Pollard.
Right.
I think his situation is a lot more different.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to be having contract negotiations while you're injured.
Mhm.
Like when they know that you're injured and they don't know for sure when you're coming back. Like in their heads, you're a liability right now at this current moment when you're making these negotiations. You're a liability. That
Mhm.
totally hurts your odds making a deal.
Yeah, big time. Tony Pollard. I hope you get paid, man. I really hope you do, just because of the fact of the position you do play. But it's. I just think your situation is real more of a crapshoot than definitely Saquon. Definitely more than Jonathan Stewart, who he coming off a very.
Jonathan Stewart. Where are you taking?
I mean, not
us? Where are
Jonathan
you
Stewart,
taking us?
Jonathan Taylor in the Colts.
Where are
My
you
bad.
taking us, bro? You taking us back to the Carolina days?
No, I know, right? But Jonathan Taylor, he voiced his opinion about it.
Because he knows he ain't gonna get paid.
Yeah, because he's coming off I wouldn't say a bad year. He did have nagging ankle injuries and knee issues that kind of slowed him down. He missed some games, only played 11. But
yeah, and Taylor also, as great as he was in 2021, I don't think he's as proven because that was his 1 year.
Mhm.
Right? Like his 1 year of being an elite running back. He wasn't elite before, and he wasn't elite last year. So he does have less legs to stand on between all of the injuries. Like, you have one great year, great. How much money are we supposed to give you based off of one great year? We don't know how consistent you're going to be yet.
True. And that kind of goes to the old adage that some of these, even in Major League Baseball, football, basketball, some of these contracts are based off of potential, and some of them are not based off of actual production that you have done. Like, okay, so Kyler Murray, in my opinion, he got lucky. Daniel Jones got lucky because they played the position. I know Kyler Murray, athletic wise, skill wise, would be better than Daniel Jones. But what has Kyler Murray done? He's done just as much. He's done just as much as Daniel Jones.
Yep. Look at Anthony Richardson. He's a perfect example of that. He didn't do anything in college. He was given a deal and picked up in the first round specifically on potential because he's athletic.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to pass up a 6'5", 244 guy that's running a 4.40.
I get it. I don't think it was that at all, but it was on.
And Lamar, remind our viewers.
Nope. I am not taking that bait.
Randy, do you know where he went to college?
Don't take the bait, Randy. Don't take the bait, Randy. Just keep on going, man. He's a Gator, Matt. All right, we got you. But I'm just when you got situations like this, because I agree with majority of your assessment of Jonathan Taylor. His first couple of years were solid. Then he had the great 0-1 season, and had the down season last year. And so his situation, to me, it might be a little bit better than Tony Pollard's. Because I can see Jonathan Taylor having enough importancy to the Colts offense because
they're also more desperate than the Cowboys are.
Yeah, because Michael Pittman, that's pretty much they got a wide receiver option. They got solid tight ends, nothing crazy, but even that O-line took a dip last year. So it's kind of like
they have absolutely no chance of winning their division unless Anthony Richardson turns into a superstar. So you want what you can get out of there. The Cowboys will probably at least make the playoffs. That's very unlikely.
Cowboys are going 0-17.
I would love that. And you know what? To your point, because you said Tony Pollard, you hope he gets paid. I hope he does not get paid because fuck him, because he's a Cowboy. And also, I want them to make bad decisions.
Oh, trust me, Jerry's made a good handful of bad decisions, but
Jerry, his sons, the daughter, the grandkids, they've all
the whole fam.
Overpaying Dak was one of those bad decisions.
Something that Texas oil over there, you know what I mean?
Ooh, that Dak contract. Ooh.
Yep, exactly. Since we're talking about like people, how much money people make based off of what they do, he got crazy overpaid, and he hasn't done shit. So, like, when you're anything but a running back, you can get away with that, apparently. But when you're a running back, you have to be CMC, otherwise you're going to be underpaid. It's silly.
Man, I'm just, if I'm Cowboys fan, and I don't like to jump in on the bash Dak train. I will say this. I think he's solid. Well, yeah, you're a Giants fan. I think
no,
Dak
just in general, I think he's fucking garbage.
I'm not gonna say he's garbage. I think he's solid.
Garbage. You don't have to say it. I will.
But I'm saying my thing about Dak is he hasn't led a Cowboys team past the second round with a top 5 offense. What, for the last 5 years?
Mm-hmm. And also a great defense for a significant amount of that.
Yeah, the last 2 years for sure, he's had a great defense.
He has one of the best defenders in the entire league.
Oh my God!
So he has no excuses. He has a very good receiving core, a good tight end, a good defense, and he can't get it done because he's not good. It's that simple. You don't throw 15 interceptions in a season if you're good.
But it also speaks to the bigger conversation when it comes to position wise. You know, hey, you got 2 Giant fans on here, my guy. I'm trying to stay neutral because I think Dak is solid. I think he's solid.
Flo, listen, I'm not a Cowboy hater. My wife is a Cowboy fan. My brother-in-law is a Cowboy fan. I'm not a hater. I just don't like them. Period. I'm not hating. I'm just,
But
I hate them.
Let's look at the grand scheme.
Don't like them.
So everybody out here, if you got sons and they're getting back to middle school age, high school age, and they want to play sports, if I had a son in that age group, I would tell my son and say, "Hey, son, I love you. I know you love football. I love it too. But I prefer that you either play basketball or soccer or baseball. And the reason why is because 1, the injury risk is not as high as football. 2, the guaranteed money is way more than football.
Sure.
And that will take you longer. And 3, you got the possibility of walking away from those sports with all your anatomy intact. More than likely.
Yeah, exactly. They'll protect you in basketball. If someone accidentally trips you, you get free throws.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If someone taps you on the wrist, you get free throws. And meanwhile, in football, you're getting your head bashed in regularly.
Yeah.
Are we sure? Are we sure about that statement? Because I'm not saying Daniel Jones is good by any means, but I wouldn't put him that much ahead of Daniel Jones.
15 interceptions to 5 interceptions last year. The best completion percentage of any starting quarterback. He at one point was leading the league in game-winning drives.
True.
So, maybe at this current moment, but Daniel Jones has a higher ceiling.
And did it with less.
And did it with less. He didn't have a CeeDee Lamb.
Hey, man, if y'all had a CeeDee Lamb, y'all would look like a different team in that playoff game against Philly.
And the Giants didn't have a Dalton Schultz or the other fucking guy's name. Whatever he was. The backup who was pretty good. Another big white dude they had.
Yeah. But I would literally tell my son to do football or do something besides football for those 3 reasons. But if he chose to do football, now I'd be like, hey, son, you sure you want to bypass all those 3 things that I warned you about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Tell him to be a kicker.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Yeah, be a kicker. Be a punter.
Hey, you better work on being a quarterback. Better be ready to be a left tackle. Better be ready to be a D-end, a wide receiver, or a cornerback. The NFL value those positions.
Mm-hmm.
They pay them as such.
True. And out of all of them, especially now, quarterbacks get so well protected that it's the highest paying and also the safest.
Oh yes, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally when you sit there and you look at, and what we said earlier when you're talking about a running back is pretty much doing 3 jobs, and you got the quarterback who's, their market is so inflated. I mean. Yeah. Daniel Jones won't be the only quarterback that people are going to look at, but like, yo, this guy's getting this kind of money. He won't be the only one. It's going to be multiple quarterbacks that you're going to look at, be like, you're getting how much?
Yeah, I mean, Dak was one of them, and like that was a while ago. The market's inflated even since
Even
then.
more. Yep. And it's going to continue to inflate even more year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at the market shares and you look at the actual profit that the NFL is making year by year, it's in the billions. It's in the billions, and it climbs every year. Your down year was the COVID year, and they still made almost like 15, 20 billion that year.
Yep.
And that's without having majority of your fans actually occupying seats, ticket sales, parking ticket sales, concession sales.
Booze.
Yeah.
Booze.
So they still made billions of dollars. And look, we get it. NFL, you want to highlight your quarterbacks. It's a passing link. I get it. But you also got to value the positions that help. For instance, I love Isaiah Pacheco. 7th round.
Rutgers.
You know what's going to suck for him? Is when it's time for him to get paid. The Chiefs, they're either going to lowball him or they're going to say, "Hey, bro, take a hike."
Yeah, they will, and in their case, it makes more sense because we have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
What do we need you for? Like, you're there basically just to make our game not predictable by having him throw every time. Like, that's your only real purpose.
Yeah, it's.
But Chiefs had that luxury to tell him, "Hey, listen, you want a chance to win, or you want to venture off somewhere else and try to make more money."
Yeah, you have a Super Bowl ring now, so like we gave you that. On top of it, if you do ever leave, we increased your market value to some extent because you have a Super Bowl ring.
Oh yeah, and say what you want about the running back market. Isaiah Pacheco was very integral to that Super Bowl championship last year for the Chiefs.
He's very good. He's a very good running back. Yeah, I would say probably top 20 running back.
Yeah,
in the league. I think that's fair. It's just he just happens to be on a team with the best passer in the league and one of the best targets in the league.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, and great offensive-minded coach in Andy Reid. So
the best target in the league, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but you also, and this is why I think the conversation needs to be had about this situation, because if there were 32 Patrick Mahomes, then I can understand having this argument and being on the NFL side of saying, "Hey, yeah, we ain't worried about paying running backs. We all got Patrick Mahomes, but there's only one."
Yep.
If there was 32 Patrick Mahomes, by all means, NFL, keep underpaying running backs. I wouldn't have an issue with it. But when it's case-by-case situations where you're looking at running backs who are in situations not as fortunate as Pacheco being with the Chiefs, and he's called on to do so much to make sure that is needed for the success of the overall team goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, some teams have a Patrick Mahomes. Other teams have washed up Ryan Tannehill, or other teams have a
washed up Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
Wow.
That matters. That matters a lot because you have to supplement that.
We got about 7.5 minutes left in the show. I want to get your take on this, fellas, real quick. MJ, surprised by D-Hop going down to Nashville? Big news to you, or just like, whatever?
To me, it's whatever, because Titans got no bearings on what the Giants are going to be doing. I don't understand the signing on his end. Because the man was preaching that he wants to go kind of ring chase. He wants to go to a contender. He's not saying, okay, I want to go to Kansas City, because I know I got a very good chance. He's talking about wanting to go to a contender. Mm-hmm. All right, you're 31 years old. You're expecting him to go and entertain offers or visits from these contenders. Mm-hmm. Now, my one question would be, who is actually in the market for him? Who actually really wanted him? Mm-hmm. Did Buffalo?
I'm willing to bet that Buffalo and Kansas City were definitely in the market. But
But
you
they weren't looking to pay him a contract though.
Well,
Yeah,
you got $13 million.
That I think is the biggest thing. I don't think that Buffalo isn't going to pay DeAndre Hopkins the money he probably wanted when they have Stephon Diggs there.
Mhm.
I don't think that Kansas City would have paid him as much money as he wanted because they were able to win a championship without him there, with Juju as their wide receiver one at the time. I don't even remember. So in those cases, or like I think the Eagles was another one that they had talked about, but why would they when they have AJ and Devonta?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense the Titans would be like, hey, we'll give you as much money as you want, please. We literally just have a running back.
I can see Hopkins going there on these pretenses that, hey, he's familiar with Vrabel. He's familiar with the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And I think, unfortunately, he will be their wide receiver one because, I mean, besides Traylon Burks, you're not really seeing too much on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, maybe this is...
Off the top of your head, Lamar, because you mentioned their names earlier on the earlier show. Without looking at it, can you name any other receiver besides Traylon Burks?
I can't. No, I can't because Detroit now literally had to look up the roster. I can't name a wide receiver on the Tennessee Titans roster right now.
There aren't that many players, regardless of position, that I could name. I could name Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis, and Jeffrey Simmons, and that's about it that I can remember off the top of my head.
Is Bud Dupree still there?
Is who?
Bud Dupree?
No, they released him. Dupree,
Okay.
I can't remember where he signed to. Because once they signed him from Pittsburgh, he had a couple of injury-riddled seasons. They just said, man, we'll just eat the cap hit and just got rid of him. So it's for me, for D-Hop, I think he can help the wide receiver room improve. And honestly, when he said that he wants to go to a contender, maybe as fans, we're like, oh, well, maybe he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender. Cool. But my thing is with the Titans, I think they're more of a division winner contender. So that does kind of meet his criteria to an extent. I mean, you look at how the Titans finished last year at 7-10, the division winners in the Jaguars, I think, finished 8-9 or 9-10.
Yeah, the Jaguars just barely.
Jaguars finished with a winning record. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the Titans lost like their last 7 games or something like that.
Yeah, they lost their last 7. You are correct. But what I'm saying is,
I think they were
not too far off from the Jaguars.
I think in the AFC South they were second, and considering that their team is Derrick Henry and a bunch of cardboard cutouts, that's pretty impressive. So the fact adding DeAndre Hopkins might actually make them a division-winning contender.
Yeah,
because I mean the Jaguars
not if Jacksonville takes another step forward.
If they take a step forward, they also take a step back.
Thank you, Randy. If they take a step forward, we got to remember the Jaguars have been in the dumps for a good 6, 7, 8 years, and they've been playing last place schedule. They won the division. They're still in a first place schedule this year.
Also, I am. This is something that I've been arguing with a lot of people about in like football circles. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence believer.
Oh, we might have to do overtime for this. I got to hear this.
Okay.
Yep. So do I.
Okay.
So do I.
Trevor Lawrence was dog doo-doo brown water in his first season. His rookie season, he was awful. In the first half of last season, he was also awful. Then he had a 9-game stretch of very good play, admittedly very good play, which was obviously very much the responsibility of Doug Peterson. And then
fucking Otani, you motherfucker.
And then he got a ton of hype because he won a playoff game. But also, let's remember, he won that playoff game, but he threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, he was awful in that first half, bro.
He did not even play well in that game that he won. He won simply because the Chargers choked. And the coaching decisions on the other side were far worse than Doug Peterson.
Oh, by far.
So
Brandon Staley has always been a questionable coach to me. I thought he should have got fired for that hacking job that he did in that playoff game.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am not a believer in Trevor Lawrence yet. The people who are already saying he's like a top 10 or like elite quarterback now, it's all recency bias. I think there's just as much of a chance that he regresses as he progresses. And if he does regress, that is a good opening for the Colts if Anthony Richardson's good.
Yeah.
And the Titans if Will Levis is good.
Yeah. And I agree with Flo right here. I gotta throw in that caveat, man. That whole rookie season for him was a wash. It was a wash.
Yep.
When that whole Urban Meyer he had no business getting that job.
Sure. No, of course. That is also very important that he had horrible coaching before. But we don't have enough of a sample size of him being good. And when he threw those 4 interceptions, that was Doug Peterson who was his coach. That wasn't Urban Meyer when he threw those. Hey,
that's fair. That's fair. That's why I'm actually not. Now that you laid all the facts like that, I'm not actually horrifically disgusted by that take now. It's just because, well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Randy had some points. Yes, the rookie season was a train wreck. Okay, let's throw that season out. Let's just throw that out. That's a wash. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So his second year, you actually got adequate coaching. All right.
Yes.
He had turnover problems. Let's be real about the situation.
Yeah.
If he wasn't throwing them, he was fumbling a lot this past season.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so we got to be frank about that. The playoff game, Randy is 100% right. He was playing like dog shit in that first half. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this: I think there are some throws that he's thrown, and I'm like, okay, he can do something. I will say this: I think Trevor Lawrence is on the rise as a quarterback in the league. I don't think he has arrived yet.
I don't think he's arrived yet either. I don't think he's anywhere near the conversation for best quarterbacks in the league like people want him to be. Because I think people like the story of the Jaguars having always been a bad team and then them having this hero who wins them a comeback playoff game. I think that's a big part of it. Yeah. But he just hasn't proven enough yet. I think he could become very good. And he's being surrounded with talent. They got Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram. Got paid, and he's
getting at you, man.
I'm gonna get to that. You know, once we're done with this, we're gonna address that in overtime real quick. Because I've been watching. So if you see me point, that's because I'm gonna get to that. But Randy, let me ask you a question. It's gonna be a 2-parter.
Okay.
Justin Herbert, where do you have him in a rank?
I have him at. When I read my list last time I was here, I had him as the 4th quarterback.
Okay. The 4th, you got Justin Herbert as their 4th best quarterback?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the second parter. What has he done in his career?
He threw 4,000 yards in all of his seasons so far. He was right below Patrick Mahomes in passing yards last season. Yeah, he didn't win the playoff game, but he also had horrible coaching, a horrible defense most of the time, and his 2 wide receivers were injured.
Yeah.
Dude, he hasn't. I'm a big Justin Herbert fan, but he ain't done shit in the league. Okay, yeah, you're putting up numbers.
Yeah,
but that's not equating to wins. It's not equating to playoff wins. And injuries are a part of the game. He played like shit. He played like shit on the biggest stage of his career.
If we're talking about if team success is the main thing that we judge a quarterback by, then Joe Flacco and Nick Foles are better than Dan Marino because they both have Super Bowl rings.
I don't look at Super Bowls as a I don't put Super Bowl wins up there. But I'm just saying, like, because you're saying about Trevor Lawrence. You know, Trevor Lawrence put up good numbers last year. But look at Justin Herbert. He put up good numbers, but with more weapons and still can't win shit.
Flow!
Great numbers. Trevor Lawrence only started putting great numbers up in his last 9 games of his so far 2-year career.
Flo about to have the whole Chargers fan base on the page in a second, boy.
Okay. I mean, right. I get it. His winning record isn't great, but it is a team sport. He's always had bad coaching and bad defenses. Keenan Allen can't stay on the field. Mike Williams can't stay on the field. That does matter. And Trevor Lawrence is being purposefully surrounded with talent to make him as good as possible. But like we have to see with him. With Justin Herbert, we've seen great statistical seasons throughout his career on the things that he's in control of.
True.
Bro,
True.
well, I'm gonna leave this conversation at this thing. You got Justin Herbert, number 4. Daniel Jones just won a goddamn playoff game, and Justin Herbert couldn't.
True. And I do think that Daniel Jones could eventually get to that level, but he's another example of he had a bunch of bad years, then he had one good year. I want to see the good year consistent.
I think he had a good year. I think. All right, now let me address this real quick.
Okay.
Since we're gonna address bottom line over here. I'm gonna give you the bottom line. Number 1, I was not a fan of the Giants paying Daniel Jones. Number 2, your quarterback sucks balls. I don't care what you say. Dak is terrible. He ain't gonna win you shit. Don't bet on him. Please. I don't care about QBRs. What has he done for your team? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't want to hear about numbers. Number 3, Reese bias for Daniel Jones. No bias. He's not a good quarterback. And I've said that. He's not a good quarterback. But neither is yours. So don't go there.
Shown improvement. Dak has shown regress.
Ooh.
He's gotten worse over his career. Daniel Jones is getting better.
15 interceptions. Yeah, I would hope he would throw less. Jesus Christ, he's a starting quarterback. I would hope he throws less.
Mm-hmm.
And he has no down years. I don't care. I don't want to hear like down years and shit like that. Your quarterback is terrible. That's it. They're terrible.
And he's always had good teams around him, so he doesn't have any excuses.
I don't know.
They got
his coaching situation ain't the greatest neither.
Which means he's not a good game manager. They don't trust him to go out there and call an audible.
Well, okay, so
if he's calling audibles, then the shit is on him throwing these interceptions, playing like shit and not winning games.
But let me ask you this: hey, look, I hear what you're saying, but there might be cases where they're maybe not allowing Dak to make those audibles. That might speak volumes. We're not sure exactly the reason why Dak and the Cowboys can't get past the second round. I don't know what it is, but I'm also looking at the coaching situation.
Because he's not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback.
He's not a good quarterback.
No, he's solid. To me, I would put Dak Prescott on that level with Kirk Cousins, as in they get the job done when it needs to.
Lamar. Is he a good quarterback?
Led the league in completion percentage before. Dak Prescott has never even gotten close to that. Kirk Cousins is a much better quarterback than Dak is.
I would put him on the same level. That's just me personally, because I think they put up decent numbers, good numbers in the regular season. If you're asking them to go win you the game in a playoff scenario, sometimes they don't come up with the winning performance.
Kirk was 3rd in passing yards last year, and he only has one. I mean, he also had Adam Thielen. Okay, so he has one incredible weapon and one good weapon. He still doesn't have the team around him that Dak did.
Oh, no, you're right, because that defense was trash. That offensive line was trash, and Kirk Cousins was getting beat to smack up. So I can give you that one. That's a good point right there. And look, at the end of the day, you got it. Like we've always said with the running back situation, even with this situation, take everything into account. Yes, there's a lot of things in favor of Dak than Daniel Jones. Yes, I can agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't, and that's the thing when you play quarterback, you're going to get the blame when the team doesn't win, and you're going to get the praise when the team wins.
Yeah,
no matter what. And
Lamar, let me ask you, Lamar.
Break it down. What's up?
Is Dak Prescott a good quarterback?
I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to win you a Super Bowl. I think he's a good quarterback.
I think he's if we were to cut all the starting quarterbacks in half, he'd probably be around the middle, maybe a little below the middle.
Right around 15-ish?
No, lower than that.
Hey.
I'm saying like.
Oh, you're saying closer to 20-ish?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd say probably in like the 20s somewhere.
Oh.
You don't lead the league in interceptions like that if you're a top 15 quarterback.
I mean, I can't put Dak Prescott that far that far down on the list.
Oh, I'll do it.
I know you would.
He said, "Oh, I'll do it."
he damn sure ain't a top 10 quarterback because there's almost 10 quarterbacks in the AFC alone that's better than him.
Right.
Good with fancy numbers. Listen, I'm a numbers guy. I am a numbers guy. So you know,
hey, you know, it's
we smart over here on the East Coast. You know, I don't know what y'all do over wherever you are, but you know, we know what we're doing over here
with your comparatively poor education system.
Hey, I love. Hey, you know what? I love it when NFC East fans get together in one room. Y'all just because y'all can do this literally all night. Y'all really could.
I could.
Absolutely.
But it's just a weird time in the NFL, especially for these running backs. It's going to be that I mean, I don't know who's going to get the deal first. I don't know who's going to, you know, get paid.
No.
I don't know if Saquon's going to get the contract. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor's going to get an extension anytime soon. You know, he's going into the last year of his rookie deal. It's just a lot of question marks, especially surrounding the running back position. But I'm here for it all, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the next coming weeks because training camp is right around the corner. Teams start reporting on the weekend, and this is the time because right now, between now and week one, you start seeing deals either get signed or you start seeing players get traded or you never know. Yeah, cut.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about to enter a very transactional frenzy of a period for the NFL, and it's going to and it has major implications to the beginning of your success of the season. It is very integral. It's very important to it. These cats, you can't come out the block slow in the NFL like that no more. You're 0-4, 0-5, 1-4. Hey, you better smarten up or shit might get.
Yeah, you come out 0-4, 0-5. You better just pack it in because you done.
Yeah.
You done.
Flo wild. He said, I finally got ready to sit up in his chair when I went after his Giants.
And in the comment right before, no, I don't care about QBR. And I'm gonna throw out a name. And here's why. Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Mm-hmm. For as great as he is, as they say he is, his QBR is through the fucking roof.
Yep.
One ring, right? Only been to one Super Bowl. In 17 years, one Super Bowl.
Man,
now, you know where I'm going with this, Lamar.
Don't. Hey, man, I told you my take. I told you my take today.
I want Flo to hear this. Oh, I'm not sensitive, bro. Trust me, I am not sensitive. I got real thick skin. I can take shit. I can give shit. You know, this is what I do. I love it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Herbert, though. I mean, like the things that Aaron Rodgers was in control of, he was incredible at. He also had very often bad defenses he had to work with. Bad coaching.
I don't even want to hear that. That man, how many times did he have home field advantage in Lambeau Field in January?
Man, yeah.
Plenty of times.
MJ, and you heard my take on the Day Show. I don't care if any Jets fan wants to argue to death with me. I have a gut feeling, and I don't need numbers to prove my take. I got a feeling they about to have a 7-10 miss the playoff season. I just think the hype is too much for them, and they're unproven. They haven't proven
Brett Favre on the Jets 2.0.
Bingo. And just like that, that's how we're going to end the show. And that's how we're going to end the show. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is doing the same Brett Favre shit. Leave the Packers, goes to the Jets. Hey, gets them all hyped up, but I don't think he's going to. I can't. I'm sorry, Jets fans. Well, I'm sorry, not sorry. Hey, that's my take. I'm sticking on it. I'm 10 toes down on it. I will die on that hill. I think y'all about to have a 7-10 mediocre ass season because y'all are an unproven team, and you got an aging quarterback who has in the last few years came up lame in the playoffs, and you asking him to get you. Can we cut the Super Bowl talk out with y'all Jets fans? Don't even mention Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this last comment about Aaron Rodgers QBR last year, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers QBR overall. his QBR overall has been off the fucking charts for how many years?
Yeah.
Last year he had a down season with losing Devontae Adams and not having much to work with, working with rookies and things like that.
Man, that was kind of his fault though, MJ.
Yeah,
he did not take the time to get chemistry with him.
Lamar, I'm not saying,
normal, but that's also true.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't his fault. What I'm saying is the year prior, that man won the MVP, 13-3, won the MVP, and where did that get him? Eliminated from the playoffs. So no, I don't care about QBR because I could have a man like Eli Manning and go out there and win me 2 fucking titles, 2 to Aaron Rodgers 1.
I love it. I love MJ when he does that.
Beating Tom Brady,
you know what I mean?
Twice, beating at that point undefeated Patriots, the hardest team to beat in the Super Bowl. He beat them in the Super Bowl.
I love it. I love when Giants fans throw Eli in there, bro. I love it. Because
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say just for Flo, just so Flo can hear this. I would take Eli Manning in a playoff game, elimination game, 10 out of 10 times over Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Come and see me if you have a problem.
I wouldn't argue that with you. I would not argue that with you. And y'all know me. I'm not showing no allegiance to Eli Manning and the Giants. I would take him over Aaron Rodgers in a playoff scenario situation.
In the playoffs.
He beat Aaron Rodgers to beat Tom Brady. Did he not?
Yep.
That is true.
And he beat Brett Favre. He beat Brett Favre in Lambeau, and he beat Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau.
True. Yes, he did.
Man. Hey, you don't look.
Eli is a top 10 quarterback of all time, and I will hear nothing different about it.
Wow.
Oh, we gonna have to talk about that on another show.
Anyway,
hey man, Randy is always
that's a head scratcher, Randy. Even I can say that. Like that's just to get at the Cowboy fan and everybody else.
As always, Randy, man, we appreciate you dropping in with us, chopping it up. Always having me and MJ enjoy chopping it up with you for real. Always a great show when you hop on here, man. But
of course, man,
hey, man, but y'all know what it is. Y'all can go ahead and tap in with us, follow us, I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, most importantly, the YouTube channel. You can tap in with Randy. Randy, go ahead and give out your socials if you want. If you got stuff that you want to share with the world, man, go ahead and drop some plugs. If you
My Instagram is Panther on Acid Productions. If y'all need any audio work done, audio engineering, mixing, mastering, beat making, I do all of that. You can hit me up on Instagram for it.
Word. And you know what it is. You see where you can find me. Twitter, KC Wildcard Mar, Jersey Boy MJ for short, and that's with a Z. Hey, great being back, fellas. Love it. And we're going to come back tomorrow, same time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in with us again for episode 342. So on behalf of Randy, Jersey Boy MJ, I'm the Wild Card Mar. We are signing out. Peace and love. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Silent Hill, GD, yes. Hitchhikers. Yeah, smoking so much dope, I'm seeing traces. Visual lasers, know the cross the scene is dangerous. Aggressive like behavior, couple monsters for my neighbors. Resisting human nature, persistently getting greater. Bloodshed like the Terminator. Fire up the green, I need it, increase the dopamine. Feel better, so I kill better. Doped up of cocaine. Roaming like I never had a home, so I'm all alone. Smoking bones down the chromosome till the filthy's gone.